Hello, everybody. Dr. Rick here, dropping in on you. I'm going to be real quick. I just want to let everybody know that on April 8th, we are releasing book number 26. Right now, the most powerful book on elevation. It's entitled Transcendent, the remarkable ability to rise above the chaos to win in life. You do not want to miss this. This is by far my best installment on human performance. I am challenging you to rise. I am giving you insight on how to do it. Here's your chance to do it now. Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Rick dropping in on you. Hope everybody is having a great week. Man, time flies. We're already on Thursday. This is Thankful Thursday. So here we are. You saw the intro. I'm excited. This is book number 26. This never gets old for me. Every time I release a new book, I am just completely thankful for the opportunity that I have to share my knowledge, myself, my passion, my purpose with the world, and in some way positively impact the lives of other people. That's my passion. That's what I'm driven to do. It's what I love, and I get to live my life, make my living, and make my impression on the world doing something I absolutely love to do. So book number 26, Transcendent, the remarkable ability to rise above the chaos and win in life. This book is unbelievable, based on those that I've allowed to review it to this point. We're releasing it on the 8th of April, but you can pre-order it now. The link is in the description box. So Thankful Thursday. Thankful Thursday. You know how I am about gratitude. You know how I am about the importance of being thankful. When you establish a mindset of gratitude, you literally change your frequency. You literally elevate your vibration. You literally change the entire environment around you. Remember, energy is resonant. What does that mean? Energy resonates with like energy. It attracts like energy. Pete, that's why you find people who tend to be complainers and whiners and blamers tend to hang in a circle, whining, complaining about what's wrong. People who tend to be positive and focused and doing things that are in the alignment with what they desire for their lives tend to be around other people who are successful. It's because energy attracts energy. If you're consistently pulling things towards you that you're not happy with, you need to look deep inside. Are you holding bitterness? Are you holding anger? Are you harnessing or exhibiting some form of envy or jealousy? You have to be real careful at how you look at what someone else is doing, because envy will creep up on you in a minute, but it has a low frequency. It's nothing wrong with looking at what someone else is doing and saying, man, one day I'm going to be there. It's a difference in sitting up and saying, why do they have it and I don't? And that energy will emanate from you, and that energy will attract not only people to you, it will attract situations. It will attract different situations and different circumstances, and it will change your perception on how you view things. Because here's the thing. Nobody circumvents or escapes the vicissitudes of life, the unexpected sudden changes that come out of nowhere and catch you off guard. Nobody escapes that. There's nobody that's winning because they got a pass. Now, there are some people who got put on. There are some people who were born into optimal situations, but nobody escapes the challenges, the sudden changes, the losses, the setbacks. Everybody experiences. So if everybody experiences challenges along the same line, just from different places, different positions, different perspectives, what is the difference? It's the perspective. How do you perceive what you're going through? There's a person that looks at the challenge and says, Lord, The world is against me. I'm never going to win. I can't win for losing. God must be angry with me. I was born, suffering is my lot in life. Poverty is my lot. And so they start to view it from a defeated mindset. So everything that's coming to them, they believe is happening to them. They don't see their influence. They don't see their impact. So they sit there and they just suck it up and they take it. Another person is sitting up and they're going, you know, this person did this. If it wasn't for that person, if it wasn't for that person, if it wasn't for this situation, if they're the excuse makers, everything comes through the lens of it's not my fault. Somebody else did it. Then there's the person that sits up and they see the same challenges, the same setbacks as simply a part of the process. And they understand that every time that I engage my challenges, every time I engage my setbacks, every time I engage my difficult moments, every time I engage what other people are looking at and saying is defeat, I win. Why? Because they understand on the other side of that suffering, on the not on the other side of suffering, on the other side of that pain, on the other side of that fear, on the other side of that uncertainty, that setback, that frustration, that disappointment is a win. It's what you are fighting for. You are going to have to see it. But if you don't have heart of thankfulness, the thankfulness sets the stage. You set the stage of how you're going to experience your day every morning when you wake up. When you determine what you're going to focus on, I wake up every day and my focus is on what I'm going to be grateful about, what I'm going to be thankful about. Doesn't mean that I don't have challenges going on. This last year has been unbelievably crazy for me. It has been one of the worst years in experiences that I've had. Now, I've had some unbelievable victories, but it's been because I refuse to let these negative experiences define me or be the definitive moment of what my life will be. It's simply one more time that I have to stand up, square my shoulders, and be able to see beyond what I'm going through. It's the storm that my grandfather taught me about. If you've been around me long enough, you know the story of the storm. My grandfather told me when I was 17 years old. He had taught me so much to that point, but he sit down and I never will forget this day. He says, what I'm going to tell you now is going to shape your life one way or another. He said, look, people complicate stuff too much, son. He says, let me tell you something. In life, you're going to be in one of three places. He said, you're going to either be going into the storm, in the storm, or coming out of the storm. It's that simple, son. He says, and your first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find the reason you're in the storm, who you can point the finger at, who you can blame, whose fault it is. So don't spend a whole lot of time on that because 90% of the time is some kind of way it's you. Don't focus on that. What you focus on is your number one responsibility as a man. And this applies to women too. But he says, as a man, he said, your number one responsibility as a man when you find yourself in the midst of a storm is to make sure you come out of that storm a better man than the one that went in. He said, if you learn how to do this, you won't have to chase greatness. It'll overtake you. And so when I'm in a storm, I'm not ooh, and oh, woe is me. When something goes wrong in my life, I'm not sitting around and saying, look at what God is doing to me or why did this? I don't deserve this. My whole thing is something when I encounter a dark moment in my life, I immediately something special is about to happen. Because I've learned that on the other side of that darkness is the light of something greater. On the other side of that darkness is the reality of the thing that I've been searching for, the thing I've been seeking, and that in order to get to the mountaintop, you got to climb over some rocks and scrape your knees and slip down and bump your hip and your head sometimes. That is life. Nobody escapes it. It's how you view it. Are you an eternal victim, or are you somebody that sits up and says, here we go again? You stand up, you square your shoulders, you look up and you say, I'm going and getting it. I've been going and getting it long before I ever reached adulthood. And it was just the way I looked at the people who reared me, my great grandparents. He grew up, he had to drop out in the second grade and go out in the field and sharecrop with his dad just to make ends meet, born in 1909. And he had to do that. And yet he grew up and he was able to raise a family, raise his daughter, raise her children, raise which was my mom, raise her child, which was me, and all of this. And he did this. He found a way to make it happen. My great grandmother was a child whose biological mom died when she was 11, was adopted by another woman who died by a heart attack when she was 17. And she had to leave that town. It was a sawmill town in Texas called Camden, Texas, and come to Houston. And she made something of herself. She became a licensed cosmetologist, opened her shop, kept it open for years. But I watched what they went through, and I watched how they never complained about what they went through, but they watched and looked and moved, and it was instilled in me at an early age that if you stand up, it can't break you. And they instilled in me that they barely scraped the surface of possibilities, and they wanted me to do greater, and that I was capable of doing greater. They hyped on my gift until I started to believe the legend of my gift. And the people tell you, you need to calm it down. You need to do this. You need to be humble. You need to have some humility. You got to be real careful when you start talking about humility. I have no problem with being humble, but you got to understand, humility is the same word that comes from the same root word as humiliate. What it means is to lower yourself to a point where you make everybody else comfortable. I'm real careful about using that word, because what it normally means is you feeling yourself at a level makes other people uncomfortable, and they want you to come down and pretend you're not who you are. I'm never going to pretend I'm not a beast at what I'm a beast at. I'm never going to pretend that I'm not an expert at what I'm an expert at, because it makes people uncomfortable. The thing is, everybody has a gift. Everybody has something that if they hone it, everybody has something that if they step into it, they're going to be remarkable in it. They're going to be exceptional in it. Proverbs says that your gift will make room for you and bring you before great men. And it's important that you understand that. You're never meant to shrink yourself and make yourself small so that other people can feel big. No, that's not humility. It is. It's a way of humiliating yourself and down talking and downplaying yourself. And when you do that, you also attack your self-confidence. You attack your self-esteem. You start to question who you are. You better be bold in who you are, because there are going to be some times in your life that the only person that believes in you is you. Now, when you get the right circle around you, you're going to have some people who will remind you of who you are when you tend to forget. But there's going to be a point in time in your life when you're going to look up, and the only person that believes you can do it is you. And you're going to need to believe it at a level that is going to make some people uncomfortable, because there are going to be a bunch of people who believe you can't. And they're going to want you to come back to where they're at, because your belief in something beyond their expectations makes them uncomfortable. The reason you have a crab in the bucket mentality in life, period, is because when you get ready to climb out of that bucket, when you get ready to climb out of that box, you've been in that box with a bunch of other crabs that have been constantly complaining about the parameters of the box or the bucket holding them back. And they're all in there crammed in. And what happens when you begin to climb out of that box, out of that bucket, you are also at the same time simultaneously convicting them of their mediocrity. You're the person that had the same story they had. You're the person that had the same background they had. You're the person that went through the same horrible things that they went through. But now all of a sudden you're rising out of it. You are eliminating the excuse that's been used for years, and you're convicting them of their mediocrity. And they now are faced with a challenge. Either I'm going to change and climb out of this box, stop making excuses, or I'm going to sit here, whine, and be miserable, knowing that it's possible to leave. See, as long as there's nobody they know that has done it, they can sit up and say, this is just where we belong. We belong in average. We belong in mediocrity. We belong in subpar performances, because that's just how things are for people like us. But when you decide that you're going to climb out of it, that you no longer want to be held in restrained by someone else's expectations for your life, and that you are going to shake free of the family curse of mediocrity and poverty and everything else, and you're going to start convicting some people that you love of their own mediocrity, of their own unwillingness to change. And they're not going to like it. You're going to make them uncomfortable, and they're going to counterattack, because that's what we do. You better wake up in the morning with an understanding of who you are. Wake up in the morning with an understanding of what's possible. Wake up in the morning with a new lens through which you're going to view life, through which you're going to sit up and you're going to say, you know what? I'm built for this. No matter what I'm going to face today, I'm built for it. No matter what happens today, I'm going to overcome it. No matter what is happening at this very moment, it's not the end of the story. I'm writing a narrative. I'm writing a new chapter. I'm creating a new outcome because God gave me the power to do so. I'm going to call things that are not, and I'm going to stand in it with a force that cannot be denied. I am moving forward, but it begins with how you set the state. It begins with how you set the environment. It begins with the feelings, the emotions, the expectations that you have in your own mind. Don't get caught up in a dark moment and make it a dark life. You have the ability, you have the power to sit up and move through anything that's in front of you. Obstacles aren't meant to stop you. They are a challenge that strengthens you, that increases the ability for you to move in a way that overcomes things. It's a preparation process, preparing you for something greater. And you need to be able to sit up and look at it and say, I'm built for this. There have been times in my life that things were so bad. I didn't have the answer of how I was going to come out. I didn't have it all figured out. The only thing I knew is that I have a destiny in this life, that I have a purpose in this life, and that God gave me that destiny, and that destiny is undeniable. And the only way that I don't achieve that destiny is if I quit. And that tells me that no matter what's in front of me, I'm going to win. There's a simple definition for destiny that says that no matter what you do to stop it, you only ensure that it happens. When you understand that that's how destiny works, you stop becoming shaken by the things that are put in front of you. And there were times when I looked at it and I didn't have the answer. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do or how I was going to do it, but I knew I was going to get through it. And so I would just look at myself. I would literally go in the restroom and I would look in the mirror and I would look myself in the eye and say, you're built for this. And I would say it until I believed it. And I would say it until the confidence came. And what happens when you get confident? You become calm. What happens when you become calm? Stress levels go down. Cortisol leaves the body. The prefrontal cortex opens up. And now it's able to perceive things and see things and hear. And then you also put yourself at a higher frequency and vibration. And you put yourself closer to the mind of God where all the answers exist. You got to stop stressing. The more you stress, the further you move away from God. God has not given me a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. In other words, that when I'm operating in my true divine nature, I'm not afraid of anything. I'm not worried or stressed about anything. I'm not shaken by anything. Why? Because I have a divine purpose. Nothing overrides my divine purpose. So I'm built for this. Start looking through the lens of your purpose and stop focusing so hard and heavily on the problem. Rather than focus on the problem, focus on the promise of your potential, the promise of your design, the promise of your destiny. This isn't about a life of ease. This isn't about everything laying down for you. This isn't about everything falling. This is about you saying, I will not be stopped. I will not be shaken. I will not be deterred. No surrender, no retreat. What I came to get, I shall get. What I desire to have, I shall have. Nothing's going to stop me. You set the state of your day. You set the environment. You set the mode. It's up to you. You're going to determine how your day goes, not because you can dictate what's going to happen, but you dictate how you're going to perceive it. You dictate how you're going to move through it. You dictate the fact that it cannot stop you. And when you have that mindset, it comes and you go, whoa, wasn't expecting that, but I got this. I challenge you. Be aware of your thought processes, your thought patterns, your perceptions, and how you perceive the things you encounter in this life. Surround yourself with people who will fan your flames and hold you accountable. People you value, people that when they tell you, You're not doing what you said you were going to do. You value them enough to step into it and acknowledge it and do something about it. All yes men and yes women will do is cheer you right into your crash, because all they want to do is ride your wave until there's no wave left. That's what yes people do. They're there because they can ride something in momentum that you're creating without having to do any work. They can experience things just by being in your periphery and in your space and in your circle. Those aren't the people you need in your life. The people you need in your life are the people that are going to say, "Hey, look, I love you. What you're doing, I believe you can do it. But what you said you were going to do this week, you haven't done it. What you said you were going to do yesterday, you didn't do it. Now I know you're better than that. I believe in you. Do you need me to help? What do you want me to do?" Those are the people you need in your circle. People who are going to fan your flames and also call you on your BS. And when you get those people, ride with them. You be something to them they need, and they're going to be something to you you need. There's going to be this level of reciprocity that feeds one another. You keep pouring into one another. Nobody gets empty. That's the thing that you have to look at. You have to look at all the things that are going on around you, but you're in control far more than you believe. The question is, are you willing to stand up? Are you willing to step up? Are you willing to follow through on it? It's that simple. On that note, look, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. I want to thank you once again for stopping in on me. You saw the intro. If you haven't pre-ordered my 26th book, Transcendent, you definitely want to. It's in the description box right now. It's priced in the pre-order at $25. It will be priced on the shelves of Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and everywhere else at $34.95 when it is actually released on the 8th. So now's the time to order it. Those who pre-order will be the first to receive their shipments. It'll be signed by yours truly. Again, this is always special to me, no matter how many times it happens. It's just a blessing to be where I'm at right now and to have the ability to influence and help other people. So with that being said, I'm going to get off here. As I always say, I live my life on full so that when I leave this place, I die on E. All I'm saying when I say that is I'm not going to squander my potential. I'm not taking any of my potential to the grave with me. I'm going to wake up every morning and I'm going to give every day everything I have for that day, so that whenever it's time for me to leave this place, I'm hoping it's 40 years, 50 years from now. But whenever it is, I will have given life everything I have. I won't have any regrets. I won't have any untapped potential going to the grave, taking with it promise that will never be fulfilled. That's my challenge to you. Do the same thing. On that note, I'm out of here. You guys have an unbelievable remainder of your day.